which is available near your location. Enemies picked up the pigeon.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm back with some more gameplay, and today I'm going to be talking about a very cool World War I war story that I found to be really interesting. But before we get into that, I'd like to talk a little bit about this gameplay you're watching right now. Basically, it's a game mode called War Pigeons, and the whole goal of it is you have two different teams that are fighting for one pigeon on the map located somewhere randomly. And once you capture it, you have to kind of hold it until you can finally get this note written down, and you can release it into the air. But the other team can also shoot the pigeon out of the air, and you'll have to restart it over again by capturing the pigeon and stuff. And basically the first person to capture 3 pigeon wins. And every time you capture a pigeon, it's like artillery strikes the other team. But anyway, back to the main story. In World War I, communication was key, and although we had telegraphs, things such as rugged terrain would make it difficult for wiring, and basically that's where carrier pigeons come in. Carrier pigeons were a popular way of communication during World War I, and a lot of the time proved to be very successful. And with that being said, that's where this story comes in. It was October 2nd. The 77th Division of about 600 men, led by Major Charles Whittlesey, were stuck behind enemy lines. They were surrounded by Germans, and the only thing keeping them from certain death was the ravine they sought shelter in. As dawn broke that next day, the battalion came under enemy artillery fire. Major Whittlesey decided to dispatch a carrier pigeon with the message requesting artillery support. By the end of that second day, a little under 200 men remained, and they were running extremely low on food and ammunition. The next morning, the battalion was still suffering heavy casualties. Major Whittlesey only had 3 carrier pigeons left. He sent the first pigeon out with the message, "Many wounded, we cannot evacuate," but that pigeon was shot down by the German forces. Whittlesey then sent a second pigeon with the message, "Men are suffering, can support be sent?" But that pigeon met the same fate as the first. By this time, the Allied headquarters decided to indirectly artillery barrage the Germans, even though they didn't know the exact location of the 77th Division. The barrage was a success at first, hitting multiple German forces, but then it began hitting the 77th Division, causing more casualties. It was all up to their last pigeon, known by the name Cher Ami, which means dear friend in French. Whittlesey quickly wrote the message, "We are along the road parallel 276.4. Our artillery is dropping a barrage directly on us. For heaven's sake, stop it." The message was then put into a canister and strapped to the side of Cher Ami's leg. Private Omer Richards, who was the pigeon's keeper, released Cher Ami into the air. She, the bird was female by the way, landed on a nearby branch in a tree and started to preen her feathers. Richards and many others stood up regardless of enemy fire and started to shout and throw various things at the bird to make her move, but instead she just moved to another branch on the tree. Richards muttered, "What the hell," and shinnied up the tree. As soon as he reached the bird, he shook the branch she was on until she finally took flight. The Germans immediately noticed Cher Ami and focused their fire on her. She dodged countless bullets until finally she was hit and started to fall towards the ground. The Americans started to lose hope, but then suddenly Cher Ami started to climb again higher and higher, until finally escaping enemy gunfire. She ended up flying for 25 minutes until she reached the headquarters located 25 miles away from the 77th Division. The buzzer sounded and the officer opened the loft's door and found a bloody Cher Ami hopping on one leg with a message canister hanging from torn ligaments of what used to be her second leg. She was also shot through the breast and in one of her eyes, which blinded her. The message she delivered was passed along and the barrage lifted. Eventually, Allied troops pushed up and the Germans retreated. Cher Ami saved 194 men who are now known as the Lost Battalion. Medics performed surgery on Cher Ami and saved her life, and even one soldier carved a wooden leg for her. The French army rewarded Cher Ami the Croix de Guerre with palm, and she also received many other awards. Despite the medical attention, Cher Ami died a year later after her injuries and is now mounted in the Smithsonian Institution. It just goes to show that heroes really do come in all shapes and sizes. Well guys, thanks for watching my video. Please drop a like and leave feedback, and I'll see you in the next one.